Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In this session we'll see some key differences between for each loop and parallel.forEach loop, and in the same way we'll see one use case where HR transfer the data from a single master folder into multiple folders on an induction name. So we'll see the process which was implemented in both the ways using for each loop and parallel.forEach loop. So here I prepared a table to show the differences between the for each and the parallel.forEach. So here iterations takes place sequentially in for each loop, whereas iteration takes place in a parallel way in parallel.forEach. So for example, while downloading the files or while fetching the details from a data table, we basically use for each loop, right? So that for each loop, the data while extracting from a data table will be in a sequential way, row by row, like row wise, whereas in a parallel.forEach loop it may takes parallel way. If there is any delay in extracting a particular record from a particular row, the process won't stop there. It will create a new thread and it will fetch the details from other rows, whereas in for each loop it is a single thread process, and for parallel.forEach it uses multiple threads. Parallel.forEach loop, it was defined in the .NET 4.0 version and the above versions, whereas for each loop is introduced in the every framework of .NET, and the execution of a slower process will be a slower in the for each loop, whereas for the parallel.forEach the processes which are slower mean like downloading the files from a web browser or transferring the data from one folder to another folder. This kind of processes will be faster when we use the parallel.forEach loop. So here I prepared one induction use case. So here on the induction day, so we see lot of new employees join an organization. So like here I consider 12 employees who are going to join a separate organization called HR. So here the HR contains master files. So every induction day we get some files where the new employee should sign the agreement, so like a bond paper, annexure A, annexure B, which contains the rules about the organization, and the PF form and health insurance form. So they distribute, or the HR assistant usually distributes these files to the employees. So it is a time taking process if there are more than 100 employees or more than 1,000 employees when they join at a time for an organization. Suppose nowadays all are become virtual, so it is becoming digital. So transferring the files from one folder, HR master folder, to the employees, it is a time taking process when we are doing them manually. So here we use UiPath to transfer these master files from the HR master folder to the employee. So here I have created one folder called HR master. So it contains the 5 forms like annexure A, annexure B, bond letter, health insurance form and provident fund form, and I take these HR employee 1 and employee 2 as my new joinees. Okay, so here first we'll create a new process with the help of for each loop, and we'll see again with parallel.forEach loop. Okay, so let's create a new process in the UiPath Studio. So here I created one new sequence with the name as HR use case, and here first what we need to do is, so we'll split the process in the 2 ways. Like first we'll identify number of employees that are available in my desktop. Okay, so I will take a notepad and write the cases. So first step is folders, and second step is find the files in HR master to transfer into employee folders. So third one, for transferring these files, so we use for each activity. So this is one example. So next one is with the help of parallel.forEach. Okay, so first we'll begin with identifying the number of employee folders in my desktop folder. So let me copy the location of this folder. So as it is in my desktop folder, so I will copy the C users del/download. So here, first, for finding out the files, first we'll take, for finding out the folders, first we'll take the for each loop. So here I have an activity called for each, so just drag and drop into this, and here, so we need to use some VB expressions here. So first we'll begin with finding out the directories. So for finding the directory, we usually prefer directory dot get directory. So, and inside this we need to write the expression as C users and del.desktop. So this expression helps to find out the folders that are available in the desktop folder with the name of employee. So here we'll have an indexing variable called item. So here I will create an indexing variable called item here, and this contains the information about the directories. So each time, based on the number of folders, this will point out to the directory.get directories. Okay, so now I will just print out the folder names that are available in the desktop. So here I am using the write line activity. So just place this inside the body of the for each, and here just mention this item, and here change the type argument of this for each to string. Okay, so now we'll print the information that is available in the directory.get directories with the help of this write line. So let's run this. So we can see there are 3 folders that are available with employee. So only 2 folders are there, employee 1 and employee 2. So here we'll write one condition with the help of if activity. So now I will place this write line inside this then. So here I will write one condition like item dot contains okay. So here a condition is there which validates this item contains the employee. So then my write line activity will execute. It means, suppose we have seen there are 3 folders with the name as HR master, employee 1 and employee 2. So whenever we identify the employee with the help of this condition, so this if condition will execute and it will validate. If this condition is passed, then this then block will get executed, or else this else will be executed. So for time being I will just write this else with some expression like no employee folders found. Suppose if there are no folders available with the name of employee, so this else block will be displayed in the console. So let's run this now and we'll check the output. So now we can see the output like this. So as we have 3 folders, so it is showing the no employees folders found as well. So first it will validate this employee 1, employee 2, and it will show the response as the employee 1 and employee 2 in my then, and then this else is executed. Okay, so here this contains the information about the employee folders. So for transferring the data, we'll use one more for each loop which can help to identify the data that are available in the HR master. Okay, so for identifying the files, first we'll write with this for each. So here I will say this for each as outer for each, outer for each for finding folders. Okay, so here I will take one more for each. for finding the files. Okay, so this is the inner for loop, that is for finding the files that are available in the HR folder. So our target is to transfer the files from the HR master to the employee folders. So here first we'll take the location of this HR master. So for finding the files from a directory, so we use again the directory VB expression with directory dot get files. So this expression now it will points to the files that are available inside the HR master folder. So here we have one more indexing variable which we required. So here I will create one new variable with the help of this index. I will name this as file. Okay, so here mention the file as file. So here mention the index as file in the for each loop of inner loop, and here convert the type argument to string. Okay, so now what we need to do is we'll print the files that are available inside the for each. Okay, so here I will take the file inside my text field of right line, and let's print the activity now. So for time being I'll just comment this one with the help of disable activity. So now it is commented, so now we won't see this no employee folders font error message in my output panel. Okay, let's run this now. So now we can see the files that are available in the HR master. So it contains files like annexure A, annexure B, bond letter, health insurance form, provident form. So like this it contains 5 files. So why it is printing twice? So why? Because our for each, that is nothing but for finding the files that is inside of the desktop. So where we are finding the directories with the name as employee, as we have 2 folders, that's why it is printing the for each twice. Okay, so now for transferring the data, so I am just deleting this right line activity inside my inner for each. So just a minute, so I just removed it. So for copying the files from the one folder to another folder, we have one activity in the activities panel, that is nothing but copy file, which is the system activity. So under the file we'll see an activity called file. So here it contains 2 fields, from field and to field. So from field is nothing but the inner for each file index. Okay, so here I need to mention as file, and outer one is nothing but the index of the outer for each loop. So here item will be my target folder, nothing but the destination. Okay, and if you want to use this overwrite option, you can also use that option, and if you don't need, you can ignore it. If you want to overwrite it, means you need to use this overwrite option. And here I will just introduce some delay after this copy activity. So like so 5 seconds. So I kept a delay of 5 seconds. So inside this delay I kept a delay of 5 seconds. Okay, so let's run this file process now, and we'll see the transferring of data from one folder to another folder with the help of UiPath Studio. So let me resize this UiPath. So, and I will open the folders of employees as well, employee 1 and employee 2. Okay, so now I have 2 folders, employee 1, employee 2. So here I will run this process now in my UiPath. Okay, let's debug. So the execution is started for the process, and here you can see the files are copying into the employment folder. Annex A is copied, Annex B is copied, bond letter, next one will be health insurance form, and then provident fund form. So all are copied into employment folder. Now it's time for the employee 2. So now you can see Annex A is copied, Annex B is copied, bond letter, thereby health insurance form, and then the provident form. So as we have introduced delay of 5 seconds, so it's taking time to copy the files from the HR master folder to the employees folder with a gap of 5 seconds. So we'll see the same flow with the help of For Each, Parallel.forEach. So here I will just comment this whole For Each activity. So with the help of disable activity, so now everything is commented here. So now for finding the Parallel.forEach, go to the activities and search for Parallel.forEach. So this Parallel.forEach is available under the factories. So just drag and drop into the inner for each of outer for each of the HR use case process. Okay, so here, and you need to keep it inside the if condition. So just pull it inside the then of if condition. So now we have a for each activity. So here we need to again write the expression of VB script. So I'm just copying the expressions from the for each loop of outer for each for finding out the files, and in the same way showing some error. So it is a one-dimensional array. So here we need to change this type argument to string, and here also we have one indexing value. So here also we need to create one variable here. So here I will write the file, which is nothing but the indexing for the files. So now I will copy this copy file activity as well inside my Parallel.forEach along with the delay. So I'm copying the delay as well. So here this inner for each is completely commented, and here we have Parallel.forEach instead of it. So here let me copy this delay, and we need to keep it after the copy file, or else I will create a new delay. So here also I will mention the delay of 5 seconds. Okay, so now our setup is done for Parallel.forEach as well, and here we have commented this inner for each for transferring the files. So this time this Parallel.forEach finds out the files that are available inside the master folder with the help of this directory.get files expression. So before that I will first remove the files that are available in the employee folders. Okay, so here before proceeding it, so here all the processes with the help of for each loop is completed in the span of 53 seconds. So here you can see, so I will just copy this information. Okay, and I will just paste over this for each. So ended in 53 seconds. Okay, right? So we'll check the time taken for Parallel.forEach as well while running the process of copying the files from the HR master folder to the employee 1 and employee 2 folders. Okay, so I will just delete this information. Shift delete. Okay, So now the employee1 and employee folders are empty. So our process is ready. So let's run this now. So the execution is started now. So we can see the data is completely copied in a single shot in employee1 and in employee2 as well. And the execution time is taking less time compared to the for each loop. So why? Because so here I have shown you the time taken for the for each activity is 53 seconds. The same process with the help of parallel.forEach is taking only 30 seconds. So why? Because so here in the differences we see it is a single thread process and parallel.forEach is multiple thread process. And here if you notice the output of for each, it occurs sequentially. So we have seen like the files in the employee1 folders are copied one by one, like annexure A, annexure B. First annexure A is copied and then with it waited for a delay of 5 seconds, and annexure B is copied and it waited for the delay of 5 seconds, and bond letter is copied again 5 seconds. After that health insurance form is copied, then again 5 seconds it waited for the provident fund form. So whereas in the for each activity, so while copying this annexure A, once the annexure A is copied, the system has waited for the 5 seconds, but another thread which is running in the back end, so that copies the remaining files into the employee1 folder. So I introduced the delay because so in some of the processes like so it may requires the downloading of files or transferring of big files like videos or some audio files. It may take some time to complete the whole processes. That time we need to introduce some delay. So here I have these files of around 0 KB. So all these are empty folders. That's why it is taking much less time. So here while transferring the bulk amount of files like big databases or data tables, so that time it will take much time for transferring from single folder to multiple folders. So now in this case we are transferring the data from employee1 and employee2. So here we can see the difference of 40 seconds between this parallel.forEach and for each activity. So like this, so based on our requirement we need to choose the for each activity or parallel.forEach activity. So that's all for this session. I hope you liked the video and you understand the difference between the parallel.forEach and for each activity, and based on your requirement you choose the best one. Thank you, and if you like the video please do like and subscribe to our channel, and if you have any questions related to these activities please do comment in the comment sections. Thank you.